Scopes, I'm happy to have you today. We have to talk about a topic. I don't think it's a content creator ever talk about that, but it's a common issue since almost the beginning of Warpath, and it's the save zone. So the save zone, maybe for you've known the save zone forever, but it was a new thing when I started playing Warpath. I mean, not even a new thing; they didn't exist before. And Conquest were so ruthless that you could manage to never be able to build your central command, and you would spend the entire Conquest in a level 3 city because it was unplayable. Maybe you can relate.
I 100% remember when I first started that there was no safe zone. And then I think literally as I started is when it came into practice in like our first or second level four. So I have seen gameplay without it and agreed it is needed 100%. But as you
Right.
said, it is so long ago that this existed. It's time for a change.
Yeah, it's time for optimization, as they say. The issue is save zone. I'm not against it. They are needed, but it should be temporary. It should be a how do you how could I say or sanctuary. Okay, you have to you cannot chill there forever because you have the choice. I mean, if your base gets blown up, then yeah, you need to heal in peace. You have to heal your base until a certain point. Then you can go back in action. You have to leave your save zone. You shouldn't chill there forever. All right. So I think we agree so far.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But how can we make this save zone, or how can we create an incentive for the player to leave the save zone? One of my friend thought about something. So save zone, you go there to chill, but once your base is either 50% or fully healed, what can Lilith do to force you out of the save zone? What is your idea? My friend thought about something before you speak. He said that, well, Mag, if you limit the amount of mines or collection or depot and you limit the numbers of Raven in the save zone, then the player won't have a choice to leave because he loves to farm, right? And what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean that would definitely work. Obviously, there's different ways they could do it. Off the top of my head, I think maybe they could limit the size of them. So instead of having the level 8, you know, unless they like change it to say level 5 is the maximum you can farm when in a safe zone. That could definitely deter people from sitting there. But even then, it just takes less time, so they'll just log on more frequently and still farm. So maybe if you have, between over 50% HP, maybe you can't send out any more collection trucks. It's forcing you to, or maybe a little bit higher because it still takes about 4 hours. But once you're over 70%, for example, you will no longer be able to send out trucks because that way you can't just sit there and farm all day. It gives you enough time to send a collection out until you're healed. And at that point, you won't be able to send any more. An alternative that I've just thought of could even be something as removing the entry fee. Now, as you know, you can do 3 entries per day, I think it is. Maybe you
Depending
could
of your level,
even,
yes.
yeah, maybe you could even change that, make it so that you could have more options to come in and out, um, and make, say, the safe zone smaller. I don't know, but even then, it's still going to be people just sitting in L3 all day. So it's one of those like they're still going to be, kind of no longer available to have fun with, the opposing team. So there's many things that you can do to change this, but how can you please everyone? And one thing I've learned in a lot of games, a lot of any genre in reality is you can't please everyone. And it's going to be such a hard thing to do, but there definitely can be some changes.
They have to optimize that. I think that the goal of the save zone is to heal, is to rest, to give you a
Agree.
break so you can come back in the action well, without any save zone, you don't have the opportunity to heal up, so your base will always be blown up. So that's not fun. Nobody wants that. I think the goal of a conquest is to try to please everyone and make the event enjoyable. Rather, if you win or lose, you must have a fun time.
Hmm.
The thing is, with the current save zone as they are, I think they're a little bit too large, in my opinion, and now it creates another problem. And the problem is, maybe you see this more on your battlefield than mine, and maybe you can describe the problem better than me. So I guess that since I'm not aware of that, in a lower battlefield, so the alliance will try to rig their power by, let's say, keeping the real number of members low. So maybe they have like 20, 30 strong players and they fill the rest without. So maybe you can relate on that and describe me what is the problem with this.
100%. This happens a lot, especially players, believe it or not, coming from epic alliances that are just bored of being dominated. So they think, how can we dominate and feel like we're actually doing something now? And what they do is they, have an alliance of, say, around 40 to 50 members, but only 20 of them will be actual real accounts that are like between 3 to 4, 500 mil, and they'll have really high tech because they've been in epic alliances. They'll have all of the availability to dominate, but there's only 20 of them, and because of that small amount, you're going to face against people with like 40 active members that are not anywhere near as strong as you, so they could just dominate with
Oh.
one or two rallies and walk through you because there is no stopping them. Like, it happened about 3 L4s ago for me. There was an alliance called TNT. They had 20 members and we had 36 members, all active. We had two howitzer rallies and a fast rally. Normally, we would destroy anyone in front of us with those rallies. We couldn't even kill one single fast rally of theirs with three rallies because they all had modern tech. They all were just maxed out with everything just because they came from these epic alliances and they were like 500 mil players, and there's nothing you could do about it. But it is what it is at the end of the day. I mean, how do they stop that? I mean, because you can never really tell if someone is an alt account. Um, I mean, the way we have changed it as an alliance is relying on the matchmaking to be we're technically relying on the matchmaking, but we limit the range of players that can join us, and it's worked so far, and since
Yeah.
then we've not really had any issues.
Matchmaking by itself is another issue that
Yeah.
is mainstream. I mean, it's all around the battlefield, either legendary or silver. There's always some alliances that are trying to dodge or sandbag, in other
Hmm.
terms, right? And I kind of understand the issue where you have to face a strong player with modern tech. You don't have modern tech, mathematically you lose because he sends a bomber and he wipes everybody without any taking any damage. Okay, but if you limit the numbers of outs or you force those outs account to go outside the save zone, maybe could play against them. I don't know, but the save zone by itself, we digress here, but the save zone by themselves, they need to be optimized. I think that, listen, you finish a conquest, you spend the two next week farming and building your army and working on your tech, you unlock new stuff, new officers, new units. You want to try them when the conquest begins, right? And when you enter a conquest, only to realize that the alliance you're facing, your next neighbor, doesn't want to engage because they have the option not to, then it goes against the conquest. I don't understand that. I mean, I guess I understand that the allies don't want to lose, but they end up losing anyways. And they ruin the fun for everyone because if they can't have fun, then they will punish you by starving you with kills, which I don't know. They should be punished for that. So
I
yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking, what if they opened up the safe zone a lot sooner? Because sure, a safe zone helps, but even once I find maybe it's different in your battlefield. Once that first fort opens, it's maybe even the blockhouse, 100% the blockhouse. But even 9 times out of 10, by the time that first fort opens, you have the result of the battlefield, right? 9 times
Most
out of
of the
10,
time.
most
Most
of the
of the
time,
time.
yeah. So why are we waiting till after the blockhouse and even like basically the middle opening to then open that safe zone? Why does it take so long to have that safe zone open? Because as we just said, most of the time, not all, but most of the time, it is the conquest has been concluded within the first week. So I feel like within a week, maybe they could look at opening it up or even shrinking it a bit.
That is also an issue. I can't think right now how to solve
Mm,
that, but I think that Lilith uh wants to avoid this outcome. They want to make sure, maybe until the very end of the conquest, they may be a turnaround. I don't know, but that's what they're trying to avoid. Is it working? I'm not sure. Maybe if the save zone would open earlier, it's worth a try.
Um,
The other issue is I found in Rome. Only Rome is by the time you reach the Coliseum, 99% of the city is built. So at this point,
sure.
you're kind of swimming against the stream and complete your mission by capturing the settlement. It's virtually impossible. There's so many villages to burn to reach that final destination that the alliance is giving up because they know they won't have enough time or enough resources to complete their goal. And even if you activate surprise attack, by the time, I mean, surprise attack only works when the village is neutral, which is not the case here. Everything is built. So I don't know. There's, I think, a few things. I mean, Warpath is constantly evolving, constantly
For sure.
improving. Well, improving. Sometimes we would disagree, but they're trying new things and trying to make this conquest fun for everyone. Not too sure if we're heading in the right direction right now. I think it needs a little bit more optimization regarding the save zone and the amount of build points for certain cities. I don't know what's your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's as you said, there is many things that can change. Especially, they've changed the buffs now of the strategic places. They've changed. They're changing a lot of things and how they work, which it's nice to see. But as you said, they haven't changed safe zones. So, and even L4s in general. Now, as you just mentioned, they've recently cut, alliances power in half, the members in half. Why don't they cut the whole L4 in half? Well, maybe not half, but say by a little bit. Instead of it being a whole entire 4 weeks long, why not just 3 weeks? And then, have that, that extra week where it's quicker to get into the next one so that we're not sat around as long. We're not waiting as long. Because, as you said, for the last 2 weeks of every L4, you're sat there doing nothing. So, why not just lower the amount of the length of that L4 and just keep those cycles coming in a little bit quicker. That could be another option.
Make the city smaller and increase the reserves recovery rate. How about that?
Potentially. Potentially.
How about that? I think it would um,
People would feel more
increase the
enticed to
speed.
get into fights as well
Yeah.
because, it's worth a look
Anyways,
into.
it's food for thoughts here.
100%.
What do you think, friends? You can comment in the section below. What is your take on the conquest? Do you think it needs to be reworked, optimized? What do you think about the save zone? I know a lot of you will agree about the save zone. I mean, they're great, but they could be better, I think. Anything else?
Um, Maybe Lilith could invite the majority to a voice call and not necessarily listen to like and 100% do what us content creators advise them, because at the end of the day we just play the game. We are not developers. We don't know how easy and hard it is to really implement stuff. But from feedback, which they are very good with, to be fair, they do listen to the community. But maybe even if it's like once a month, just get a group call, and just sit down and actually take time to really listen to the community instead of just every now and then hear feedback. Does that make sense? A more
Yeah,
consistent, direct approach to it. It could
I,
help a long way.
I think they're pretty good at listening, but yeah,
Agreed.
maybe get some
Agreed.
more feedback or do they have a team to try the new optimization before they go live? I have a feeling that
Isn't
they don't.
isn't that liberation? What what do they do over there?
I don't know. I want to know. I'm curious because whatever they are doing, I don't know if it's working. Anyways, that's it for today's friend. I hope you like this content. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Your feedback is much appreciated. And we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.